Welcome back to another episode of German culture seen through British eyes. It's Benekon here from Brit in Germany, back with another video. And today is a beautiful day, and I wanted to take the time to share with you one of my favorite topics, which is the top reasons to move to Germany. Now, I've been living here for over 10 years, and I feel like I've seen it all. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, and over time I've really developed some things which I really see as huge benefits of living here. Now, this is my subjective opinion, but I think quite a few of these things are also backed up by surveys and statistics. So if this sounds like something that it could be interesting for you, stick around. We're going to get right into it right now. And the first point that I have is location. Now, this might sound a little bit obvious, but I think it is a point that is often overlooked, especially in the times that we are living in today. So Germany is located in the heart of Europe. It is bordering some of the most amazing, culturally rich countries on the entire planet. You've got France, Belgium, Luxembourg to the left, then you've got Switzerland, Austria, Liechtenstein down below, you've got Poland, Denmark, Italy is not far away. This is just really amazing, depending on where you're actually living in the country of Germany. Some of these places are really very easily reachable within 2 to 3 hours via car or train. And right now it is the beginning of July, and plane prices are astronomical, ridiculously, horrendously expensive. Airlines are really struggling. They're canceling a lot of flights. They don't have the staff for baggage handling. The airports just have massive delays. And I think if you can really avoid it, it's really best to avoid flying. It's not a lot of fun at the moment right now. So this is really one of the main benefits that I see anywhere living in Germany. It's very easy to travel, to experience some new cultures, some new languages, without having to get on a plane. Now, of course, number one would not be complete without number two. You do need to be able to fund travel, and that is why I have job security, and the employment market in Germany is number 2 on my list. Germany, in my experience, is one of the most secure and safest sort of job markets that I have ever experienced. There are really a lot of regulations and rules designed to protect employees, and a lot of big companies work together with unions and works councils. And this is sort of like an extra level of protection and support, especially for employees. I have talked about this before. There are also some downsides, especially if you are a business owner or a manager, but I'm talking mainly to people that want to work as an employee. There really are a huge amount of benefits, and not least of all the paid holidays, the paid sick leave, the paid education holiday, which you can also take advantage of. So there really are a lot of opportunities to enjoy that work-life balance, which you maybe have heard a lot about before. Number 3 is also a point that I have actually talked about before, and it is the standard of living in Germany. And I'm talking about this coming from the UK. So when I compare the UK to Germany, Germany really does pretty much win on every parameter and every category you can think of. It's just more affordable, and the standard of living is just higher in Germany compared to the UK, and I think also compared to quite a few other European countries. Of course, that's my subjective opinion. There are a lot of statistics on this kind of thing. Germany ranks pretty highly. It's not the best, but in my opinion, especially if you're coming from the US or the UK or Ireland or something like that, you can really get a lot more for your money than you can in these other countries. Now, the next point on my list is a subjective point and might not be the case for a lot of you, but for me, it's definitely a huge reason to move and to live in Germany, and it is the low focus on consumerism in this country. And what I mean by this is that, yes, of course, business and commerce and profit is important. But when comparing to the UK and the US, it's definitely much less of a focus here in Germany. And there are other factors which really take sort of an important role in society and in your personal and private life, which just makes it a lot more sort of wholesome and healthy to live here. So the obvious example of this are the shop opening hours. Everything is closed on Sunday, and shops close fairly early in comparison to a lot of other European countries. Also, when you look at marketing and advertising, it's just less extreme. You're not sort of bombarded with sort of hard sells all the time, which you kind of are more used to in the UK and the US. It's a lot more of a softer approach, which I just find is a healthier way to live. And yes, of course, profit and commerce is important, but it's definitely a bit sort of watered down when comparing it to these other countries. Now, another point for me, one of my favorite points, is the focus on local and also on seasonal cultures. Now, don't get me wrong, this is also present in a lot of other countries, but I think that Germany really celebrates this point to the extreme, which is something that I really have grown to love. Now, the obvious example of this is the Spargelzeit, or the asparagus season, for where the whole country is sort of gripped in asparagus fever for a couple of weeks, where all the restaurants sort of create new menus which are really only available for that time of year, to include all the sort of dishes with asparagus. You get in the supermarket, it's pretty much everywhere you go. And then after that, of course, you have a lot of different sort of seasonal or regional things related to food and drink. So then you have the strawberry season, you have the cherry season. In the autumn, you have sort of beer and wine festivals, something called a Federweisse, which is really only available for a couple of weeks in the autumn, and then you just can't get it at any other time of the year. And although, you can get strawberries in December, for example, for Christmas, if that's what you really want, they just don't taste the same. It's just not as good. And it's something that I've really grown to love. It's sort of these traditions, these are rituals that really make life worth living, and that really sort of enrich our experience of life. Number 6 on my list is also another one to do with quality of life, and it is what I would term green living. And what I mean by this is that the population of Germany is pretty evenly spread out. The cities are not huge, and it's very easy to get from the city center to sort of unspoiled, untouched nature relatively quickly. And this is something that I really appreciate about living in Germany. Even if you're not a huge nature lover, most of the cities do sort of prioritize greenery, parks, trees, which at a time like this, sort of a mini heat wave that we're experiencing, it really is quite important. I'm more aware of how important this is because it really does actually affect the climate and the temperature in the city. It can come down a couple of degrees depending on how many parks, how many green open areas, how many trees you have in the city. It's not just about sort of aesthetics, but there is actually a very practical element to this, which is really hugely important. And I think there's quite a strong focus on this in Germany. And the last part on my list, also maybe a little bit subjective, although there are 2 points to this, and it is safety. And yes, there are the statistics, and then there is sort of your own personal feeling, how you feel when you walk on the street or when you go out in a city or in the country in general. And of course, this is very subjective. I'm coming from the UK. I also would say that I look kind of German. You wouldn't necessarily know that I was not German just by looking at me. I don't know, maybe that's wrong, maybe you can tell. But of course, that does affect my experience of living here. But I can say for myself, I feel very safe. I've never felt threatened. I've never really had, an altercation or anything like that. And I must mention that I am living in Frankfurt am Main, which is, according to statistics, the crime and drug capital of Germany. According to official statistics, there are more crimes that occur in Frankfurt than any other city. Is maybe a little bit biased. I did a video on that already. But even, taking that into account, I feel very, very safe here and have never had any issues whatsoever. So those are my 7 reasons for moving to Germany. We're in the middle of 2022 here. Do you have any plans to visit or to move here? What are your struggles? What are you looking forward to the most? Were any of those things on my list? I hope maybe this inspired you. Maybe gave you a little bit of hope. It is a beautiful country to live in. I myself love living here. I would love to hear your thoughts. Maybe drop me a comment below on some of the things that you like about the country. I hope this video helped you, inspired you, but that's it for today. As always, take care, keep calm, and I will see you very, very soon in the next video, which will be coming out in the next few days. That's it from me. Take care. Bye-bye.